Hello everyone, welcome to the online classes for class 10th in the subject science. Today we'll take up the rest part of chapter 7, control and coordination. Learning objectives for this session are endocrine system in animals, role of different hormones, chemical coordination in plants and plant movements. That means after completion of this session, you will get a better understanding of all these topics. Let's start with the endocrine system. Before coming to the topic, I would like to discuss about tissues. Tissues are a group of cells which perform a specific function, and those tissues which are engaged in secretion only, those tissues are termed as glands. Glands are of two types, exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine glands are the glands with duct. That means they convey their chemicals to the target organ with the help of a duct or a tube. And so they are termed as the duct glands as well as the exocrine glands. Examples are sweat gland as well as the tear glands, salivary glands, all are having ducts to convey their chemicals. Now about the endocrine glands. These are the ductless glands. They pour their secretion directly into blood, and with the blood the chemicals goes to the target organ and then affect it. The examples for endocrine glands are pituitary gland, thymus, thyroid, many other glands, even testis and ovary. These are the reproductive organs, but their secondary role is to form the 6 hormones. Now, about the slide. The endocrine system is composed of several endocrine glands. A ductless gland is called endocrine gland. Endocrine gland secretes its product directly into the bloodstream. Hormones are produced in the endocrine glands. That means the secretion which is secreted by the endocrine gland is called as hormone. Hormone is mainly composed of proteins. Hormone assists the nervous system in control and coordination. Nervous system do not react to every nook and corner of the body, and hence hormones are needed to affect the control and coordination in those parts. Moreover, unlike nervous control, hormonal control is somewhat slower. Now there is the location of different glands in the male. Let's start with the head part. There is the pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, thyroid in the neck, parathyroid over it, then the thymus, adrenal gland above the kidneys, pancreas, and testis. Now the endocrine system in females. The sketch is showing the location of different glands in the female body. Let's start with the brain part. Pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus. In the neck region, thyroid and parathyroid. Then thymus. Then above kidneys, adrenal gland, pancreas, and the ovaries. So everything is same in male and female except the testis and ovary. In females, ovaries are present, and in males, testes are found. Now about the hormones. Hormones, as we have already discussed, these are the secretion of the endocrine glands, and these are chemical messengers. They are secreted in very small amounts by specialized tissue called ductless gland. They act on the target tissues or organs, usually away from their source. Endocrine system helps in control and coordination through chemical compounds called hormones. That means hormones are the chemical messengers. They are required in trace amount or very small amount, and they are non-nutritive in nature. That means they are not providing any kind of nourishment to the body. They are only chemical messengers which convey the message from one part to another part of the body, and they affect the target organ only. That means if they come in contact of other organ, they will not act there. They will act only on a specific organ, and that organ is the target organ for that particular hormone. We have already discussed about the endocrine gland, that these are the ductless gland that secretes hormone directly into the bloodstream. Now there is a chart. You need to learn this chart by heart as it is very important. The first column is for the endocrine gland, the name of the gland is there. Second column is the location. Third column about the hormone produced, and fourth column is about the function of the chemical. Let's start with the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is the master gland of the body, as it regulates and controls the functioning of other or secretion of other endocrine glands of the body. So this is the question which usually comes in board exam, which gland is termed as the master gland of the body and why. Pituitary is termed as the master gland because it regulates or it controls the secretion of other endocrine glands of the body. Its location is it is found at the base of the brain, and it secretes a range of hormones, and three important hormones are growth hormone. It stimulates growth. Thyroid stimulating hormone, that is TSH. It stimulates the functioning of thyroid gland which locates in the neck part. And the follicle stimulating hormone FSH. It stimulates the follicles during ovulation. Now about the thyroid gland. It locates in the neck part. Its secretion is thyroxine, and thyroxine controls the general metabolism and growth in the body. Metabolism is all the biochemical reaction taking place in the body. Either it is the constructive reaction or a destructive reaction. Now the next gland is adrenal gland. It is found above the kidney, so one pair in number. It secretes adrenaline and noradrenaline also. It prepares the body for emergency situation and hence is also called as fight and flight hormone. Now next gland is pancreas, location near stomach. It secretes insulin which controls blood sugar level. Then testis in males. In scrotum, location is it secretes testosterone, the male sex hormone, which regulates or controls the sperm production, development of secondary sexual characters during puberty. Secondary sexual characters are like development of beard, mustaches. Now in females, we found ovary. It is located nearby the uterus. The uterus is the part where the development of fetus or the baby takes place. Its secretion is estrogen as well as progesterone. Estrogen helps in egg production, development of secondary sexual characters during puberty, while progesterone is termed as the pregnancy hormone as it helps in maintaining the pregnancy in females. So, in brief, we have discussed all the important endocrine glands of the body with their location, their secretion, and their functions. Now, some common points which are usually asked in board exams. One of the important question is why we need to take the iodized salt. So the answer is iodized salt is necessary because iodine mineral is essential part of thyroxine hormone. So it is important that we must consume iodized salt turn as in turn it is essential for thyroid gland as it controls the carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism for best balance of growth. Deficiency of iodine might cause a disease called goiter, where the neck got swollen up very abnormally. Now, the second important question is about the insulin hormone. When the pancreas doesn't form insulin in a sufficient amount, then the person gets suffered with diabetes. So, what is the cause of diabetes? That question may come in exam. It is the deficiency of insulin hormone secreted by pancreas, as insulin is responsible to lower or control the blood sugar levels. Now, how we can treat such patient? Patients have to internally administer injections of insulin hormone, which helps in regulating blood sugar level. Now the next question is regarding the adrenal gland. Let's get to this point. In case of flight or fight reaction to an emergency situation, basically the secretion of adrenal gland, that is adrenaline and noradrenaline, they both help to deal with the or cope up with the emergency situations. Basically these are termed as the 3F hormone. 3F is what? Fear, flight and fight. In these three conditions the body need to cope up very fast or react very fast. So this gland help in this situation dealing. So adrenal gland, they release adrenaline into blood, which acts on heart and other tissues. It causes faster heartbeat, so more oxygen to muscles. It reduced blood supply to digestive system and skin, diversion of blood to the skeletal muscle and increase in breathing rate. So by all means it is increasing the energy level of the body and giving more oxygen or blood to the skeletal muscle so the body can react fast to cope up with the emergency situations. Now there is a mechanism which is regarding the hormone balance in the body, which is termed as the feedback mechanism. It is basically a type of self-regulating mechanism in which the level of one substance in body influences the level of another. That means hormones are regulated by their own self in the body, and that mechanism of controlling the level of hormones in the body in a normal condition is termed as the feedback mechanism. Now about the control and coordination in plants. In plants, as there is no nervous system and no specific endocrine glands, so the whole body is controlled and coordinated by certain chemical messengers, and those chemical messengers are termed as the plant hormones or phytohormones. Unlike animals, plants do not have a nervous system. Plants use chemical means for control and coordination. Many plant hormones are responsible for various kinds of movements in plants. Movements in plants can be divided into two main types: tropic movement and the nestic movement. Now about the movement in plants. As I have already told you, nestic and tropic movements, let's discuss these in brief. Tropic movements, the movement dependent on growth, and nestic movement independent of growth. Basically, tropic movements are the directional movements, and nestic movements are the non directional movements. That means, in tropic movement, the stimuli, that is, the situation which makes them react, that is, stimuli and its direction is important. While in nestic movement, it doesn't matter from where the stimuli or what is the direction of the stimuli. Now, the directional movements in response to stimuli or stimulus. The four major types are the phototropic movements, geotropic movements, chemotropic movements, and hydrotropic movements. Phototropic movements towards the light. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be towards the light, it can be away from the light. As the stem or the shoot system, it shows positive phototropism, and the root system, it shows negative phototropism. Now, geotropism, movement towards gravity. It can be positively geotropic, can be negatively geotropic. Chemotropic, movement towards the chemicals, and hydrotropism is movement towards water. Now, about the nestic movements, as we have already discussed, these are the non-directional movements. So, they immediate response to the stimuli. As touch me not plant, if we touch the leaves drop down for a certain period of time and then they will get normal again after a certain period of time. Now, the movements a little detail. Tropic movements are in a particular direction in relation to the stimulus. Tropic movements happens as a result of growth of a plant part in a particular direction, and there are four major types: the geotropic movements for the gravity, phototropic movements in response to light. Now let's discuss these movements. If a plant is kept in a container in which no sunlight reaches and a hole in the container allows some sunlight, the stem finally grows in the direction of the sunlight. This happens because of a higher rate of cell division in the part of the stem which is away from the sunlight. As a result, the stem blends or bends towards the light. The heightened rate of cell division is attained by increased secretion of the plant hormone, that is auxin, in the part which is away from the sunlight. Basically, the phototropic movements is because of the auxin hormone. Now, this image is showing a heliotropic chamber in which there is only one part they are showing by which the sunlight is entering the box. So the stem will start moving towards that part of the box in response to the stimuli, that is the sunlight. So the stem is showing the positive phototropic movement. Now the plant showing geotropism. If we place a potted plant in a horizontal manner, then we'll see that the roots will go towards the gravity and the stem will move towards the upward direction away from gravity. Now the hydrotropic movement towards water. The roots in plants grow towards water, so positive hydrotropic movement. Thigmotropic movement is for the touch. Such movements are seen in the tendrils of climbers. The tendril grows in the way so as it can coil around a support. The differential rate of cell division in different parts of the tendril happen due to the action of the auxin. If you have seen the vine of pea plant or you have seen the pea plant, then there you are able to see a spring like structure. Those green spring like structures which get entangled or get attached to a strong surface. Those tendrils help the plant to propagate further, and those spring-like structures are termed as the tendrils. Now the nestic movements. The movement which do not depend on the direction from the stimulus acts are called nestic movement. For example, when someone touches the leaves of touch me not plant, and the scientific name is mimosa, the leaf drops. The leaf drop down. The dropping is independent of the direction from which the leaves are touched. Such movement usually happen because of changing of water balance in the cells. When leaves of mimosa are touched, the cells in the leaves lose water and become flaccid, resulting dropping of the leaves. And when the stimulus get over, then again the leaf get back to normal shape. Here the image is showing how a normal situation or normal condition of the leaves without the stimulus, and when you touch the plant, the leaves drop down. Now about the plant hormones. Plant hormones are the chemicals which help to coordinate growth, development and response to the environment. The plant hormones can be categorized as the growth promoters and growth inhibitors. The growth promoter hormones are auxin, cytokinin and zebrelin, while the growth inhibitor is abscisic acid. And ethylene or ethene hormone is a gaseous hormone which act as a link between the promoters and the inhibitors. Its some functions are of promoters and some functions are of inhibitors. So we cannot categorize ethylene as a promoter purely or a inhibitor. It is a intermediary link. Now about the functions. Auxins help in growth. It also shows apical dominance, cell elongation. It prevents premature leaf and fruit falling. It initiates root formation in the stem cuttings. It acts as a weedicide, the chemical which kills the weed, that is the unwanted plant, and it induces parthenocarpy. Parthenocarpy is fruit formation without fertilization. Now the second growth hormone is zebrelin. It delays aging in plants. It helps in the growth, cell division. It speed up molting process, increase in length of axis as grapevine, increase in the length of a stem as in sugarcane. It causes bolting in beet, cabbage and many plants. Now cytokinin. Cytokinins promote cell division. It induces cell enlargement. It reduces or it helps in overcoming the apical dominance. It induces growth in auxiliary buds. It causes lateral shoot growth and it helps in adventitious root formation. Adventitious roots are the roots which has been originated from any other part of the plant except the radicle. Now ethylene, it is a gaseous hormone and it promotes aging and falling of leaves and fruits. It also promotes ripening of the fruits. It breaks the seed and bud dormancy, so the seed can germinate and the bud can become a flower. It initiates root growth and root hair formation. Now abscisic acid, which is a growth inhibitor, it inhibits growth. It causes wilting of the leaves. It stimulates closure of stomata. So it is also termed as stress hormone. During unfavorable conditions, it closes the stomata of the plant so they do not get affected by the external environment, and so it is termed as the stress hormone also. It increases the tolerance to various stresses. It induces the dormancy in seeds and buds, and it promotes aging of the plant parts. We have discussed the hormones and their function in both plants and animals, even different types of plant movements. Hope you all have achieved the learning objectives of the session. Thank you. Take care.